So like the animals, so that is the difference between person 1 and the person 3. Just see, when we practice Mangalacharan, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Wait, translate in your mind the meaning, may there be happiness for all. So we move from the baseline awareness to the person number 2 with the discerning intellect, saying that happiness is everywhere. But the person number 3 doesn't agree. It has an ego, it has an anxiety and reaction. So what the discerning intellect should do, you just recognize there is only one authorized occupant of the mind. The rest are tenant and the rest are unauthorized. Anxiety is unauthorized, reaction is unauthorized, ego is unauthorized. Why it is unauthorized? It is temporary. It is incidental. It is not essential. What is only thing that is essential? What is only thing that is essential is your consciousness, or that you can say the real self, true nature. It is always there. But anxiety, reaction, ego are incidental, are temporary, hence unauthorized occupants. Can I recognize this? Is what is required to recognize? Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, may there be peace for all. Means, let us see that it means peace for all. Second, peace is essential nature, and peace is all pervading. So this is another name of the real nature. Where is the problem? So while saying it, who is saying it first? It is the discerning, the person number 2 is saying. If the person 3 is saying, it will not work. Person number 3 is saying, it will not work. Why it will not work? Person number 3 says, accommodate all unauthorized tenants. Accommodate ego, anxiety, reaction, duality, delusion, and yes, let there be a peace. So it means I'm still living in ignorance. What should I do? Person number 3. Are you getting it? Person number 3. Even with eyes open, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Thought, mantra is just a thought, and that thought triggers the discerning person number 2. Person number 2 triggers mantra saying wholeness, wholeness. Now I live with that knowledge. I live with the knowledge. I live with the knowledge means I am self aware. Where is the problem? So I'm self aware. Now I recognize the unauthorized occupants of the mind. If someone comes to your house, intruder, you don't know, stranger, and he says, "This is my home." So the person number two recognizes by understanding, who is unauthorized and who is authorized. Consciousness is the only reflected in the mind is authorized. The rest are tenants and unauthorized. Unauthorized anxiety, reaction, delusion. Why and how? You cannot live in anxiety 24/7. You cannot live in reaction 24/7. Cannot live in them 24/7. They come and go. It means they are incidental. Incidental means they are temporary. Anything that is incidental is temporary. But either the ego or the delusion says, "No, I am permanent." And that is your person number 3. The default mind or person number. Now I understand it. I understand snake is there. It will bite me, and still I say, "No, you are my friend." Then I am not a seeker. Simple, then I am not a seeker. I am not a seeker when I fuel, fire, support, anxiety, reaction, delusion, ego, whatever you name it. You can name different things. It doesn't make any difference. No, you're wrong. You did something. Hold on. Person number 2 or person number 3? Incidental, because you came, so I am agitated and excited. Incidental. That is not the authorized occupant of my mind. Simple. Why shouldn't I understand this?
So only self-awareness is reflection of consciousness.
Tell me if there is anything. You find it out. You met me and I am agitated. So I am agitated, it means person number 3 or default mind made this mind home, but it is unauthorized. Tell me, it is unauthorized. not required.
But you're aware that you are hesitate.
Huh? Yeah. That is because you are aware, that is why you recognize it is an unauthorized occupant. It is an owner for the time being. It is an owner, temporary, incidental, owner, huh? Owner, temporary, unauthorized. Why shouldn't I am aware that I am agitated. Very good. I am agitated. Why should I not recognize? Why should I not recognize that it is unauthorized? The moment I recognize it is unauthorized, it is not the essential nature, it drops. Why should I not recognize that it is temporary, incidental? Maybe because of ego, maybe because of delusion, maybe because of ignorance. I have been telling you that is the explanation. That is the explanation of you are sure, you cannot put into agenda to become angry and agitated tomorrow at 10 a.m. Because when 10 a.m. comes, you are not agitated. Why? Because it is not an authorized and lawful presence in the mind. So that is what the discerning intellect does. So you are right, you are aware. Discerning intellect makes you aware. What is discernment? Means separation. So it separates the real from real and to unreal or false. So when you recognize it is a false by awareness, I still live with it. That is my ego delusion. So I made it very simple. Just check. Mind is a reflected consciousness. Simple. Mind is reflected consciousness, nothing less, nothing more. Nothingness or nothing less or nothing more. So now the default mind, and also there is some indirect rule of the person one, the baseline consciousness, you can say baseline awareness, or you can say the animal mind. Yes, has an indirect rule. So now this default mind or person 3 perceives, causes likes and dislikes, the journey starts, and then you have a binding desire and attachment and delusion and ego, and now this default mind covered the sky like clouds. It did not damage the sky, it simply clouds. It is a cloud of lack of awareness. Cloud of lack of awareness means it is just a delusion. So what should I do? I should separate. So who separate? Person number 2 are discerning intellect. That is why the entire Eastern wisdom lays a strong foundation on fourfold practices: discernment, dispassion, 6 treasures, and intense desire. When we say Eastern wisdom aims at self-discovery, very good. So self-discovery and discovery of the material world has one difference, one basic difference. Eastern wisdom does the self-discovery with discernment, and that Eastern wisdom does the self-discovery with discernment of real and the false. Science does the discovery, don't use the word self-discovery, of the material phenomena, the objective reality which is constantly changing. What is changing is false, is temporary, it is incidental. It cannot find the absolute reality. It cannot find the absolute reality. Understand that. Why? It's a relative field. What is relative field? It is objective. What is objective is changing. What is changing is incidental. It is not intrinsic. What is intrinsic? It is essential. What is essential? It is absolute. So science is not finding anything that is absolute. That is the big difference between the two. So that is why we say for understanding. For understanding only. Person number 1 or baseline animal mind. I gave you an example. Person number 2 is the discerning intellect. Person number 3 or the default mind. For understanding. So we started with the discernment. Even the bird or animal or any pet is there. Moment I move the hand, default mind starts working. It is controlled by the nature. Mostly controlled by nature in living species. Let us add this, living species. But we have an option. We have an option of discerning intellect or person number 2. I can allow the default mind to work based on the nature, or I can choose or make a choice. That is the beginning of a journey of Eastern wisdom. So unconsciously and habitually, I exercise a choice for ego, for delusion, for anger, for agitation, for reaction. And then I say, I am suffering because of you. I am suffering because of the world outside. The animals do not have that level of self-awareness by which they can say that. If the animals can say, then you have sin, then you have marriage and demarriage, then they also have a sin, they have to confess the sin. Animals do not have it. So it means discerning intellect makes there is a chance of self-awareness. There is a chance of self-awareness or lack of awareness by default mind. Plus, you can add the plus ego, delusion. I can recognize the delusion. Human can recognize it. Animals can't. Put the cats before the mirror, you will recognize it. They start fighting. They start fighting with an image. Now, if that is very much clear, we have to answer the question. We have to answer the question. What question? Are we also fighting with ourselves? Are we fighting with ourselves when we are in anxiety, reaction, ego? Tell me. Fundamentally, we are fighting with ourselves. Yes, because of we, the default mind dominates, dictates. And if yes, how long we are going to fight? How long we are going to fight with ourselves?
So is when the home owner at home, the fighting is finished.
I just recognize you are an unauthorized occupant, my friend. Just say in your mind, default mind, you are an unauthorized occupant. Your reaction, your anger, your hesitation has no value at all. I give value, so the discerning intellect is gone. Person number 2 is gone. So, I am more than an animal. How much you train your dog not to stand up, you have shown the bite of the foot. The trigger is already present in their mind. Their mind has not transformed.
Yeah.
It is a conditioned response. So we also have a conditioned response. Honey, I have lot of things to say you, but I don't want to say at this time. Remove the unauthorized occupant and then say it. Are you getting it? That level, we need that level of awareness. You have a dog and you show him a bite of food, but you have conditioned the dog. You have conditioned the dog not to stand up and jump. It is conditioning. Not to jump. It is conditioning. It is simple conditioning. There, it is simple conditioning. Trigger is already present in the mind. Trigger is present. So we have a trigger in the mind. Also, we start thinking, speaking, and acting out of trigger. And so we become little clever. Now you see that we become little clever. Honey, I hate you, but I don't want to be angry over you. Ah, right. I hate you, but I don't want to be angry over you. Really? Are you harming not only yourself, but also others? It has nothing to do with moral and ethical discipline. It's a very purely science and knowledge and understanding. Harming yourself but also others, it means it is because of default mind. We forget discerning intellect. We don't want to use discerning intellect. Why? Just see that why. We don't want to use discerning intellect. We have it. It is available all the time, anywhere.
Because we don't believe that discerning intellect bring us happiness and pleasure.
Yes, that is a big point you made. We don't believe discerning intellect can bring happiness in my life. But again, answer why. It may be because of ego, maybe because of delusion, maybe because of ignorance, maybe because of false we are attached. So in all these cases, we believe temporary false as real and true. And that is what the ignorance is. That is where the discernment we need. Think. Master is simply asking, think. Then we will come to seer in the scene. We will see the operating principle where we have to be very clear again and again. So there is SYA. I told you before also. There is a Shruti. So it means there is no belief. So what to do? What to do when no belief is there? When no belief. So Master says Shruti. Shruti means listening and learning. Yukti means logical reasoning, right, proper and good reasoning. Right, proper and good reasoning. So I put forth these reasonings. So I have to repeat these reasonings again and again in any and all events in my life. So repetition means a regular practice, and then comes A. A means anubhuti. Anubhuti means the direct experience. So what will happen sometime? Sometime your discerning intellect DI or person number 2 is at a very higher level of awareness, and you have a direct experience of calmness and peace. Sometimes the default mind takes over, but you continue. So by the practice, you get rid of the default mind. So then there are many areas. We have sanskaras, we have prarabdha, we have karma, lot of stuff. But the main principle is authorized, unauthorized occupant. Mind helps to communicate with external and the internal world. External world, check it, observe it. It is constantly changing. It is incidental. It is incidental. Incidental means temporary. Okay? Now I also gather experience of the external world in my mind, and that experience is also incidental and temporary. So all experiences of the mind from the world is temporary, incidental, unauthorized occupants. That include experience of anxiety, reaction, memory, past, delusion. Delusion means, I claim what is false is the real. So now the discerning intellect asks, what is original? You can ask another question. Did I born with anxiety, reaction, anger, fight, delusion? Or I was spontaneous in my in childhood? Spontaneous. My dad told me, don't do this. And that consciousness said, what happened to this dad? He was loving, he was calling me, and now he's slapping. What happened to this guy? My dad proved that I am crazy. But I was so spontaneous, natural. Consciousness, through the mind wants to reflect on and wants to gather the experience. But my parents, my mom, my dad, my siblings said, this is good, this is not good. This you should like, this you should not. I was so spontaneous, so natural. My parents, my education, my siblings, my parents, education, destroyed my natural state. Nobody trained me. Hold on. Oh, you are full of energy. You are playing, and now, do you feel good? Yes, I feel good. So when you are spontaneous, natural, please feel good. Work. Nobody trained me. Then I built my ego based on my body, mind, its habit, inclination, likes and dislikes. And that ego is what my personality is. What is my personality is my behavior and attitude. What is my behavior and attitude? Depends on the past impression which is taken for granted as right, proper, and good. So I am a dominant member in the family. So by default mind learned that I am a dominant anyhow. I was angry and my honey did not react to it and just became submissive. So in principle, that is my nature. Now I will work on this. In other families, the female dominates, the male is submissive. Everything,
Like,
everything is possible.
yeah.
But basically, I rely on what is incidental, what is external, what is unauthorized occupant. Some stranger enters your house and occupies the house, doesn't leave. So we have to have or someone is a tenant, lived for 2 years, and then they don't want to vacate that house, so you have an eviction notice and you have to fight. That is the entire journey. You leave the mind as it is, leave the mind with its authorized occupant. Finished. You are free. You are free. And that is where what we did, the poise method works instantly. Instantly. When you allow unauthorized, if I'm using again and again to unauthorized occupant of the mind, you always live in stress and suffering. There is no other chance, you see that? So there are many, many, many reasons behind it. It may be ego, it may be my belief. The belief means, I have set of values coming from my past experiences, the way I lived my life. The way I lived my life. Tell me, is it not so simple? Is it not so? uh, so I have to understand how to evict unauthorized occupants of the mind. When you evict unauthorized occupant of the mind, you are free. You are free. You are free. Mind is a crowded apartment building, but half the tenants are not half, 99.9% are authorized occupants. Nagging worries. Worry nags you. Always remember what will happen. What will happen? I have a knee pain. What is going to happen will happen. Endless to-do list. I have to complete this work. I'm very busy. Can you tell me when you will be free completely? Unnecessary. We believe it. Then we did some past mistakes and we keep on repeating it. Unnecessary. Pay a little more attention. So, what are these unauthorized occupants? They are the thoughts and the feeling and the emotions. Yeah. I am conscious of a thought, so that consciousness is the authorized occupant. But I say, no, my thoughts, my feeling are authorized occupant. What a great guy I am. I am conscious, what you said, and I'm conscious of hesitation, anger, duality. So it means two parts: consciousness plus anger, hesitation, So then I believe or I claim anger, hesitation are real. What about consciousness? What about consciousness? Can you experience your anger and hesitation without consciousness? So it means the consciousness is the rightful occupant. If we are not animals, we have an intellect, we can understand it. Can I experience anger without consciousness? Big no. If it is big no, then what is the truth? So we can categorize authorized and unauthorized occupants. And the best part is that it lives in the form of a thought, feeling, and emotion. The moment I recognize you are not authorized, it is done, finished. I'm already in peace. That is what is the poise method. Presence, self awareness. I invoke the discerning intellect. Discerning intellect says observer. I am an observer, not the observed. What is observed? Observed is the anger, hesitation, duality, and a conflict. It is unauthorized occupant. And then you investigate. I further investigate. I am a witness to that. Now when I say I am upset, wrong. I have a thought of upset. It contains the idea, feeling of an upset. Oh, so then I see the space between observer and observed. Let me drop Om Shanti, finished. I embody the real self. I'm done. How long I have to do it? I have trillions of impressions. I cannot sit. I have to do it regularly. I have to do it regularly. Until I do it regularly, I cannot reach. Ego says, oh no, I have already understood. It will not work. It will not work. Repetition is required. Why? Because by repeated practice, we created belief, we created ignorance, we created duality and a conflict. By the same level of repetition, but with discerning intellect, we can reach to that state. Tell me, is it not so simple to understand? Yes, intellectually. But at the same time, we have to repeat it again and again and again and again until until the default mind breaks its belief and it says, yes, I am there. I am there. Then it works. So now you see it is a practice, and at the same time, it is also and simply an understanding. Is a poise method, yes, pick up the poise method, and then it is poise method is not a practice, basically. So it is, even now, am I, is a baseline awareness? No, I have no thought. Now I have a thought, it's a wall. So now I have to see it's a default mind or discerning intellect. Oh, discerning intellect, it's a wall. There is no likes and dislikes. Oh, so there is no attachment. No, it's a wall, it's a watch, it's a computer, it's you and me. Ah, it's a light. Oh, finished. So now in the baseline awareness, animal consciousness, discerning intellect is just aware. It's a self-awareness. That's why I'm recognizing it. So I'm aware that the default mind should not take over. Default mind will allow the unauthorized occupants to enter into my mind. So that will create a problem. So it means I have to understand the default mind and the discerning intellect clearly. And simply by understanding the greater, the deeper, the clear understanding of the default mind and the discerning intellect will help me to dissolve the very belief which I have it, which creates a problem. Now there is another word used. Default mind has a silent contract with the ego. Contract is silent, but the manifestation is full of chaos. in reaction. So now the same thing, we'll talk in detail about this, I'm briefing it. So the same thing, what is same thing? Default mind is driven by the thought, speech and action. So I have to recognize the ego in that thought, speech and action. When I am experiencing anxiety, fear, frustration, reaction. What I said? I have to recognize the ego-driven thought, speech and action which comes from the default mind. While experiencing anxiety, fear and frustration, so I deal with this ego also, I maker also.
But ego always body-based.
Yeah, mind is also, because it is word-based. And what is the word-based? It is body, mind, intellect, ego, things, work, and etc., etc. I maker, the moment reflected consciousness is there. So that reflected consciousness means the consciousness reflected in the mind, reflected consciousness. And that reflected consciousness creates I and rest of the others. That is what the I maker, as a I thought and I ego comes. But it works with the default mind, so it takes everything from the default mind, its anxiety, its duality, its body identification. So it means I have to reflect on what is the limit, what is the boundary of this I? Is it the body? Is it the mind? Is it the thought? My car becomes I am the car. Delusion. Here's I am sitting, so I'm referring that I am the body. The moment I say I'm sitting here, you are sitting there. No one is sitting, body is sitting, and I am not the body. I lose that awareness. So the two words are there, I and the rest of others.
So awareness, it's a reflection of consciousness in the mind.
Yeah. Yes, you can say that. Definitely.
Ego.
And ego is already present in the mind. It is you give a label of I-ness. Simple. I thought. First there is a I in the rest of the, there is a I-ness and there is I am and I am not. So when I see the wall, I am not the wall. When I see the screen, I am not the screen. When I see you, I am not you. So there are only two things. One is I am and the other is I am not.
I'm not, yeah. So first is awareness and second is I am.
I am plus I am not. If I am is there, so I am not is also there by default. And that is the default mind.
Can awareness exist without I?
Yes. Do you see my left hand? Yes. Now, do you see the light? Yes, the light is still present. No, we are not talking of the left hand now. We are talking of the light. You are not aware of the light. Without the presence of the light, the left hand is not there. I cannot see it. So light is still there. So it is subjective awareness. That is where the problem, mind creates the problem, because it runs after It runs after the default mind. Default mind is nothing but the world, just the world, which includes your egos. Think of it, contemplate. Today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have, today in the morning session I was saying, one guy reflected on that, what he was saying. Yeah, he was saying something. Oh, I was totally absorbed. So in the meditation, I said, and I don't want to come out. So yes, I said, don't come out for hours together. You feel like you don't want to come for days, weeks, months, years. What happened? You're already there. You don't need to think even of awakening and realization. You are already there. You found it.